Period. That's so good. We're back, and this is my third time trying to record this video because apparently I don't know how to talk about books. I swear I recorded it the first time and I was like, this is fine. Watched it back. First of all, how does one person think about describing a book and thinks, yeah, I like the writing. I don't know how to talk about books. I don't know how to talk about them. I read a book and I go, wow, you know, that was great. That was really good. That's not enough, apparently. And I have so much more respect for people, booktubers, book talkers. How do you guys talk about stuff like this? I don't understand, but we're gonna give it a go because I'm committed and I like these books. So we're gonna try my best. And if my explanations are a little bit lacking, if they are a little bit less desirable than you would really think, if you saw the background change, no, you didn't. If my descriptions are not as great or my recounts of the book are not as fantastic, I still encourage you to go and check them out because I promise that they are way better than, I like this book because I like the writing. So let's get right into it. First book is a part of a series that I've been reading. It's one of my favorite genres of all time, which is a murder mystery, and it is coupled in with just a dope plot. Anyway, it's The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. I thought it was Osman. It could be Osman, but there's no E in front of the M, so I'm not sure. Essentially, this book is about a bunch of pensioners who get together at their retirement village and solve unsolved murder cases. If that doesn't sell you, I don't know what will. I think it's very witty and charming and fun, and the group of people that you follow are lovable, I would say. I think they are, again, charming folks. There's a wider cast, I would say. There's a psychiatrist, there is an old MI6 agent, a trade union leader, trade union organizer, and a nurse. Eight, and they be solving murders. And it's perfect, and it's awesome, and I highly recommend if you want something fun and quick and something to get you out of a book rut too. This book specifically, not this book specifically, but the first one in the series. I don't have the first copy because I read that at home. First of all, got it at TJ Maxx. Since when does TJ Maxx sell books? I got it for like half off. What? Thank you. But yeah, I definitely recommend this. The chapters in the book are a lot shorter. Like some of them are a couple pages long, some of them are 1 page long, and they kind of just make you want to read more and more. Yeah. And there's a bunch of books. He wrote 4. There's 4 in the series, and I believe he has another one called We Solve Murders, which I don't believe is a part of the Thursday Murder Club series, but I haven't read it yet. I really want to. Once I'm done with these, I'll give that one a read. Yeah, Thursday Murder Club. Recommend. We're gonna do a little switch up for this next one, which is Crying in h-mart. H-mart. Man, I love h-mart. Crying in h-mart by Michelle Zauner, or Japanese Breakfast, if y'all are a fan of her music. She is not only a fantastic songwriter, but also a fantastic author. This book absolutely wrecked the fuck out of me. It was so enjoyable, but also like gut-wrenching to read. It's basically a recount of her handling the death of her mother, kind of navigating grief through learning how to prepare Korean food, the food that her mother used to prepare for her during her childhood. Wow, man, this is so powerful. If you are a child of immigrants, if you are a daughter of immigrants, this shit will hit you so fucking hard. It's a story about her reclaiming her Korean heritage and kind of just like roaming around the aisles of H-Mart just to feel connected to not only her heritage, but her mother, which is wrecked me so good. Obviously has themes of identity and navigating grief, as well as I've talked about kind of difficult mother-daughter relationships as well. So a trigger warning for that, but give it a read. Okay, this next one is kind of a banger. One of my favorite movies on actually my Letterboxd top 4 is Breakfast at Tiffany's. I saw that when I was a teenager and I loved that shit. I was like, ooh, this is so rom-com, this is so romantic, this is so cute. And when I got to college, I told a professor about this, and my professor at the time was like, babe, you should read the book. It is not really like the movie. And I was like, really? He was like, yeah, it's a lot more interesting in my opinion. So I said, okay. So I picked up the book. I read this book about like a year and a half ago, I'm gonna say. I know these are like recent reads. I'm saying recent as in the last couple months to the last like year and 4.5. Okay, that's my criteria for recent. But this essentially deviates from the movie in a few ways. This is kind of set in 1940s New York, very opulent, very vintage vibes, and it follows Holly Golightly, which she's a very interesting protagonist. She's very charming and kind of an elusive neighbor. We follow the story and we kind of meet her through the eyes of this author who has moved into her building and sees that she's constantly throwing these parties for these rich men and these like gangsters, and we're like, wait, who are you? What are you doing? Like, where are you going? Where have you been? You know, the entire story I think is incredibly interesting because this author sort of like has this obsession with her, like kind of falls in love with her, asks where she is, like where she's at, you know? I feel like that's what a lot of people do with her during this story. And she's only 19, by the way. Anyway, the book definitely differs from the movie in the sense that this is not a rom-com. I mean, obviously it was Hollywood back in the 50s, 60s when they released this, so they're gonna turn anything into a love story. But I push you to read this book. If you enjoy old New York vibes, I feel like you'd really enjoy this. It's also a super short read. How many pages is it? It's 160 pages, just about. So if you want a quick little read, I think it's great. Yeah, very kind of opulent vibes. She's like a socialite, very fun, but also addresses themes of like loneliness, identity, a little bit of freedom. Breakfast at Tiffany's, give it a read. A little backstory for this book. When I initially picked this up, I got it on sale at a local bookstore and I was like, what in the world? I read the summary and I was gagged. I was like, what do you mean? So I picked it up and I read it because it was $7 at a local bookstore. Wow. Yes. Essentially, it follows this woman who is mistreated, undervalued, and overworked in her workplace. A lot of the men around her give her these menial tasks to do and don't trust her judgment. It's reeking of misogyny in the workplace, okay? So what she decides to do is fake her pregnancy. What? The book is set in Japan and is definitely a commentary about the work culture and misogyny there, and it was just a very, very interesting read. I won't give too much about it because I feel like the more I start talking about it, the more I'm going to spoil it, but I will say it's worth a read. It's definitely interesting. It'll have you thinking. It's structured like a diary, so every 5 weeks, I believe, she kind of gives a little bit of an update on her pregnancy, and it's just what? I think it's really surrealist, it's satirical, but it also addresses darker themes, again, with the loneliness. I don't know what's up with me and the loneliness and the isolation, but worth at least give it a little skim, look at the summary of it online and then maybe read it and then maybe give me your thoughts. It's Japanese translated fiction, so it's gonna be wacky, it's gonna be fun, but it's also gonna be like, what? Yeah. Diary of a Void. We're switching it up once again. We got a range in this video. She has range. Clock it. Let's add some nonfiction to this hoe. A little Puerto Rico and national history. Okay? Boom. I picked up this book in an effort to read more nonfiction because I am a big fiction girly. I'm a big escapist girly. I'm a big, let's go to different worlds. Let's do unreal things, not real people. All that shit. This was a very important, let's learn about some history about a U.S. territory that, I don't know about y'all, but the U.S. school system didn't teach me jack shit about Puerto Rico. I didn't know a lot of stuff before even reading this book. I think it is a very comprehensive and historical look on the island in general. It recounts over 500 plus years of colonization and rule from Spain and fighting against the U.S. from trying to take their territory as well. And honestly, despite all of that, how Puerto Rico developed this distinct nation and this distinct culture away from the US and Spain. So I think it was really cool. It's very dense. It's very much a lot of history, a lot of facts, but also it includes very personal accounts from people who live there, from people who were affected there, from people who had to move out of the island. It's very real and important. I found it to be a very, very interesting read, and the author includes little bits and pieces from his parents' lives, and he ends with some very important quotes that kind of stayed with me. So I will recommend this if you want to read anything. I would recommend just if you are from the US, you should probably learn a little bit about Puerto Rico because I feel like a lot of us just don't know jack shit. Boom. All right, now we're gonna go in with a fucking banger. Okay, let me tell you a little bit about this. Let me tell what you know about Dog Man. What you know about hombre, perro, okay? What you know about this. This is an absolute work of art. Let me show you some of these obras, okay? All right, guys. This came from the same guy who did Captain Underpants. I've been meaning to read a lot more Spanish lit, as you guys perhaps know, and this was kind of my first introduction to them. I have 3 of the books, and they are so fucking fun. I will say, grammatically and in terms of vocab, they're quite great. They're kind of like insane, but they are intentionally misspelled because it's supposed to be Bert and George writing these things, and they're like at like a 3rd grade level ish. So they will be intentionally misspelled. Perhaps not the best for learners, but I'm having fun. One thing about me is I'm gonna have fun. So I recommend. What is it about? It's about a superhuman cop that's a dog, and then he fights off crime. Dude, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It's like a blast from the past. Does anybody who read Captain Underpants remember when this was just like a little thing on the very back of the book? On the very back of the book, like a little comic strip, and then now they made it into a full series. Girl, I'm gagged. So good. So good. Highly recommend if you want a little blast from nostalgia. If you're learning another language, hombre, perro. The fuck? Next one, we're gonna do another little graphic novel situation. We're gonna do a little manga. I'm not the biggest like manga girly. I've read One Punch Man and I read Chainsaw Man and I used to read Naruto, but honestly in recent years I haven't read that much. If you have any suggestions, let me know. This one is gonna be initial D. I like car. I like Japanese car. I like JDM racing. My brother was like, you would probably like this. Isn't that awesome? So I picked this up. I also have watched the show before, so I kind of knew the premise going into it, but I was like, ooh, let me get a little graphic novel. It's super cool. So dope. Bunch of like teenage boys racing cars at night, little canyon carving perhaps in the mountains. Mountain carving? I don't know, guys. It's a whole lot of fun. It's super like epic, action-packed, but nothing like super serious. Like they racing cars. At the end of the day, they racing cars and like fighting over girls. That's how it's gonna go. And I won't lie, I did buy this book initially for the cover because, come on. The Truman, guys, so fucking badass. But they have a bunch of different ones. I need to get the second one. I need to get the second book because this was super fun to read, and I really should just be reading more manga in general. It's just fun, and it's a lighter read than a lot of the other stuff that I was kind of showing y'all. So recommend this one too. Okay, on to the last book. Guys, we're on to the last book already, but I was having so much fun. So this last novella, I don't know, guys, is by Kurt Vonnegut, and it's A Man Without a Country. This is as close to a memoir as this man is ever gonna get, and that's what it kind of says on the front of the cover, and that's how a lot of people describe it. It's a lot of his personal recollection. A bookmark dropped. It's a lot of his personal recollections of life and a lot of shorter stories and about his political views, his thoughts about being an author, his thoughts about being a veteran, on war in general. And it's just really interesting. It's also a super easy book to get through. It's super short, and I don't know if this matters to a lot of y'all, but there's like a lot of bigger quotes that he writes within the book, and it's like ginormous. It's like huge text and not a lot of it on the page. So if you want to get out of a reading rut, I would say this is really great. I like to describe Kurt Vonnegut's work as very ADHD coded. Like his writing is all over the place and crazy and wacky and funny, but also like weird. Very weird. He's a weird man. So if you're into weird shit, I would definitely say give this book a read as well because it's fun. It's cool. Yeah. I think he has a really great, light-hearted play on words, especially when he's talking about darker topics. And I think that's what I like, just like kind of a funnier way of talking about darker shit, as you can probably tell with a lot of these. But those are some of my favorite books. Those are some of my favorite reads as of late, in the last couple of months to like a year. If you saw any of these books and you're interested in them, awesome, cool, let me know. If you have any recommendations for me of what to read based off of some of the stuff that you guys saw, let me know too, because I would love to hear it. And yeah, thanks for watching again, and I'll catch you in the next one.